Hey guys, it's Shanda. How are you? And welcome to Shanda Says. Today is Monday, which is How to Build a Better Relationship Mondays. I wanted to do a series of vlogs to help you along with myself because my marriage is definitely not perfect, and creating better communication and a stronger foundation in terms of our relationships. You notice I put R in there because it's for me too. What I noticed about long-term relationships or marriages, if you're in this, you know this, like over time, and this is what I hate, like over time you're not as close as you used to be. Like, you know, in the beginning you're always around each other, you're always asking each other questions. How was your day? What'd you do today? I missed you today. There's always this constant communication going back and forth, and you're wondering, you know, how were you? Just like the time we were together today, that I really missed you, and you're just catching up because work and other commitments get in the way of relationships. So over time, you tend to lose the closeness because so much is going on around you, be it different things like stress, financial issues, all those kind of things can get in the way. So in my mind, I'm thinking, what can you do to become closer in your relationships? Let's talk about those kind of things. For one, I think, and we always know this, communication is very important. But as important as we know it is, over time in our marriages and our relationships, we speak less and less. We communicate less and less. You guys know that. And you want to be able to be at a place with your partner at all times that you can communicate. I feel like I communicate too much sometimes. I don't think that men are great at it. They just aren't. And it took me a long time to get the fact that men and women are totally different people. And I always felt I knew so much about men, but I realized that I really don't. And I'm okay with accepting that. Like, men just try at communicating. Now, I'm not saying all men. It's not a blanket statement. But the majority of men have a hard time communicating. So my thing is, the best time to communicate with my man is when I have his attention, because I know he's going to absorb the information. It's not going to be like when he walks in from work. The last thing he wants to do is hear my mouth. Okay? It's the last thing he wants to do. When he comes in, normally he wants to unwind. He wants to chill out. You know, just kind of get his bearings. It could be a half hour, 45 minutes, even an hour before he's really ready to listen, because men rarely are taking in too much information at one time. So you got to find a time that you feel that you know you have his attention. So a lot of times I get my man's attention when he's in the shower. And thankfully I have a shower that fits both of us. It actually fits 4 of us. So I'll go in and I'll step in the shower with him and I'll wash him up myself. And then I'll just start talking about stuff. So I'm washing his back and washing other areas. I'm talking about things that I want us to talk about. And believe it or not, I get his attention. Okay? So that's a fun way. Or it can be at a time that, you know, when your man comes to you, when he's talking about something. Because a lot of times we women are just going and we're not listening. We're not listening. And when you talk less, you'll be surprised that your man talks more. So when he's ready to talk and he's opening up, that's a good time to basically talk about your feelings as well. I think they're more receptive. Okay. So communication, we all know that is very important. And listening. Listening is just as important to communicating. One of the biggest problems I have with my husband sometimes is you don't listen. You don't listen. My husband's a Leo. They're control freaks. I love Leo men, but, you know, they want to be in control. They love the spotlight. They want to do things their way, which is cool. I'm a Gemini. I can accept that. But when I need you to listen, I need you to listen. There's nothing I hate more than that. I need you to listen. At least value what I have to hear, what I have to say. Enough. Respect me enough to listen. Because I think that I know a lot of what I'm talking about. And if I don't, okay, we won't talk about that. But give me the respect of listening, especially if it's good advice coming from my heart. And I love you. It's good advice. You know, I'm not saying things just to be saying. So we have to learn to listen just as much as we communicate. Okay. Now, this is a part that's very easy for women, I think. And this is just giving of yourself generously. Like we women, I think it's very easy for us to give generously most times. Not, again, this is not blanket statements that all women, all men. Okay, you guys know that. But I think it's very easy for us to give generously. Think of it this way. A lot of times men are brought up to be macho. You know, you don't show your feelings. You don't this, you don't that. Men don't do this, men don't do that. So it's very hard sometimes for a man to break a habit that has been instilled in him since he was a child. You know, but I do think the right woman in his life will change him and he'd want for himself to give generously of himself. And as people, when we're in love, we have to give of ourselves. We can't be selfish and just think of us all the time. You just can't do that. Being selfish means you need to be alone. When you are being selfish, it just means that the world is all about you. You're selfish. You can't give anything to anyone else because you're too busy giving it to yourself. And that kind of personality does not need to be in a relationship. You need to work that issue out before you become involved with someone else, because they paid a price for your selfishness, and that's just not fair. So you have to learn to give up yourself generously. I always love to do things for my husband. I love to do things that make him happy. I love to say things that make him happy. I love for him to always feel like a man in my home. I love for my husband to be the man. I don't like women who want to wear the pants in their relationship. I don't like that. It doesn't mean that he's controlling you, but you need to allow your man to be a man. You can't rip a man down, and you can't tear him up and think he's still going to be a man when you're just being totally disrespectful. And you can't just run and walk all over a human being and expect that they're going to love you and respect you. You just can't do that. I love for my husband to be the man. I want him to take the lead a lot of times. I don't mind him making decisions because I trust him enough to make the right decisions for me and my family. Does he always make the right decisions? No. But I have a voice too, and I lend my voice. And he respects me enough to say, you know what, Sean, you're right about that. So let's do it this way. Again, communication and trust is very huge here. Because you know that you can't have a great relationship if you're not trusting each other. You just can't. You can't. You could be in love with each other and know that you're not supposed to be together because the trust issue is gone. That's something to think about. We'll talk about that one later. Another thing. I wrote stuff down. If you see me doing that, that's what I'm doing. I am huge on kissing. I am huge on it. I love to be kissed. I love to be kissed waking up. I love to be kissed goodnight. And I was brought up like that. My parents were like, in the morning you get up, you say hello. At night you give a kiss goodnight and you say goodnight. Okay, so I was brought up like that. It's instilled in me. I love my kisses. I don't just love pecks either. I think that over time when you're married and you're with someone a long, long time, you start just giving, bye honey, good night honey, how are you? I just hate that. I want tongue. I want passion. I want my kisses to be like when we first met and you were wondering what I was like in bed, and you knew that through my kiss I was giving you kind of an idea of what I'm like in bed. Because yeah, kisses say a lot about you, how you kiss. It also says a lot about your relationship, if that passion is still there. So if you're not kissing a lot, you have to kiss goodbye like you're saying hello. Yeah, you have to do that. Kissing is very, very important. I even like to be tongued down when I'm, when we're getting down. I love that. I want my kisses from now until forever. I don't care if I'm 80 with no teeth in my mouth. I want that tongue. And it's probably a nasty visual. But I just feel like life is so short, and while you're in it, you have to have passion, and you have to wake up feeling passionate about your relationships. Because if not, why are we even together? If there's no passion anymore. Like I can't. I need lust and I need passion in my life. I can't do the day-to-day monotonies, I need spontaneity, and I need lust, and I need fire, and I need all those things. Excuse me. I'm drinking close to 100 ounces of water a day. And I have to get my little sip now. Okay, what else? You have to be able to cope with stress. You have to be able to come to a common place of being able to cope with your stress together. Because if you don't do that, I'm coping with it one way, you're coping with it another way, and we're constantly at each other. Stress can be a huge burden on relationships and marriages. Huge. If you're in a financial position now that you weren't in 2 or 3 years ago, let's say years ago, 2 years ago, you were making all this money, and because of the economy or whatever has affected you, you're nowhere near making that money anymore. That affects your household. But you both have to come to a common place that you're not being accusatory. You're not pointing fingers. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. You have to be able to say, you know, we love each other, but we're going to get through this together. And we're going to find ways to make this happen without choking each other to death. Because you know that money, kids, careers, family, all those things can stress out a relationship or a marriage. You have to be able to always come to a safe place in your relationships together that you can say, you know what, this is killing us right now, but we're going to do this. Because that's what makes the good times great. That's what makes the good times great, that you're at a place that, you know what, you sit back and you say, can you remember when we were eating just beefaroni? Or do you remember the times that we were just this? Look how much we've grown together. That's the beauty of being a couple, that you're not just celebrating when you got the Mercedes in the garage, but you're celebrating when you had a Chevette together. That's the beauty, that you can hang in there and you could cope when it's not always good. When it's not always good. We love and we admire couples that have a lot of money and they're loaded. But take away the money and what is at the core. Hopefully love is always there. Because you can rebuild the money. You can rebuild it. You work hard together, you can rebuild. Persistence, patience, and love will get you there. But anyway, I don't want to keep you too long. I love you. I will be back on Wednesday for sex and relationships. More about sex. I love talking about sex, and you guys love listening to it. Also, thank you to all my new subbies, as Shanda says on YouTube. I love you so much and hope you continue to tune in. And I will see you on Wednesday. Until then, mwah, God bless you. Bye-bye.